Hi guys, Forgotten Wolf here, and this is some deleted scenes from Game of Thrones I'll be discussing. I'll be doing 5 deleted scenes, what is happening in the scenes, when this scene took place, and why it was cut. Before we begin, please like, share, and subscribe, and if this gets 150 views and 3 likes, I'll do a part 2, and we are so close to 100 subs, so please sub. And with that out of the way, let's begin. Now, probably the most infamous deleted scene in Game of Thrones is the Tywin Lannister and Pycelle conversation. Now, it was, of course, to be taking place in season 3, and in this scene, Tywin gets Pycelle to break the Old Man Act and drop it, and Pycelle basically states his goals and motivations on the small council to not die, not be the biggest threat, just look out for himself. And Tywin, in at the end of the scene, allows him back on the small council. Now, we know the scene takes place in season 3, but before episode 3, because Pycelle takes place in the small council, so I'd say episode 2 would most likely be when the scene was intended to be in. And as for why it was cut, it was a strange cut, but considering we know nothing about Pycelle's motivations and only got info about him from season 2, really, where Tyrion imprisoned him, this tells me that either the runtime made them cut it, or they chose to focus more on the other parts like Sansa and Margaery or D&D felt this was kind of out of place since Pycelle wouldn't be doing a ton the rest of the season. He's just kind of be there. I wish we got this scene, but it would have gone nowhere and isn't really important, so I'm not really going to miss it. Another popular deleted scenes is Margaery and Loras mourning Renly in season 3. In this scene, Loras is shown carrying Renly's armor in a Renly-type encampment, and Loras blames himself for Renly's death, and Margaery helps Loras to get over his death, and he finally moves on. This scene probably would have taken place in Season 3, Episode 1, but this scene is very sweet, but it's so out of place. The fact that Renly's armor gets all the way to King's Landing makes no sense, and the other solution, is at Storm's End. Margaery is in King's Landing for and the end of Season 2, so I'm very much in favor of this cut. It is completely out of place. Now, the third deleted scene I'll be discussing is a small council meeting that discussing the Night's Watch in season 3. In this scene, Pycelle and Tyrion try to get Tywin to send the gold cloaks that deserted in the Battle of Blackwater Bay and then came back afterwards to the Wall while also being concerned about Mance Rayder. Tywin then says Mance Rayder could be an ally to Balon Greyjoy and Robb Stark to battle in the north, and an ally which they could send an envoy to, and Cersei hints that it would be Tyrion. And this scene very clearly takes place before the Red Wedding, and even before the Red Wedding was agreed upon, as they're discussing like Robb Stark's gonna live, particularly Tywin is. And this means it very likely happened in season 3, episodes 6 to 8 sometime. I wish they had kept this scene in, but I imagine the cut was for 2 reasons. 1, the runtime, of course, and 2, setting up something that wouldn't happen being Tyrion and Mance Rayder. This is probably my favorite cutscene of the whole lot. Excuse me, I just burped. Now, the fourth deleted scene is Pregnant Daenerys. This scene would have taken place in episode 5 of season 8. We have a few shots from the teaser from episode 5, and it seems they used the wrong cut of the episode in the teaser, and this scene being depicted as Tyrion telling Daenerys about Varys, and this is clearly an alternate take, but from this we can assume that Daenerys was supposed to tell Jon that she was pregnant with his child in the crypts of Winterfell. I imagine they filmed two versions of that scene, being one with Daenerys looking pregnant, one where she isn't, just in case they decided to scrap it. And all the scenes with Daenerys after episode 3 likely feature her all looking pregnant like she is in the shots that I'll show you right now. And it's possible they refilmed a lot of season 8, episodes 4 to 6. And from what we can assume, I heard rumors that Cersei was supposed to have a miscarriage scene. So if that's true, we can assume that Cersei's pregnancy took the place of Daenerys being pregnant. And this was cut for the simple reason, or not simple reason, of it being way too dark for Jon Snow to kill a pregnant Daenerys and their child. Now, no footage has resurfaced online except for the shots in the trailer despite this, but I think it's only a matter of time before we see more lost content from Season 8, if it still exists. And if the lost content from Game of Thrones is anywhere, it would probably be somewhere in HBO's workshop, if that makes sense. And who knows, maybe one day we'll see it. And the final deleted scene that I'll be covering today is Joffrey and Robb sparring in Winterfell. Now, this would, of course, be in episode 1 of Season 1, but this happened in the books and was filmed for the Game of Thrones original pilot. And in this scene, we would have seen Tommen and Bran fighting, followed by Joffrey taunting Robb, leaving Robb enraged while sparring. And this is a pretty funny scene in the book, so it seems a rather surprising cut when they refilmed the pilot. This leaves the question, why was it cut? And my theory is that it was supposed to be a more proper introduction to the Starks, as in this it's Robb, Jon Snow, Theon Greyjoy, Bran, Arya are all there. In addition, we get Joffrey and all of them. And we know from the pilot that there wasn't a proper introduction to the Starks. So this could have been their introduction to the Starks. But yeah, and we also know this scene even exists because George R.R. Martin said in his blog post when they were filming the pilot. Now, I wish we had seen the scene, but I'm glad it was cut because the first episode is perfection, baby. I don't know why I did that. I do think that someday we will see the Game of Thrones pilot leaked online. I do think so. It's gonna happen someday. We've seen so many leaked content that surface online that I think it's just a matter of time until we see it. But that is it for this video, so please like, share, and subscribe. And at 100 subscribers, I'll do 1 hour video on FNAF Timeline. We are so close to that. And at 600 likes, I'll do a video on the Doom and Valyria. We might have already hit that by the time I upload this video. And at 75k views, I'll do a video on the life of Jaime Lannister. But until next time, bye!